All right. Hey, everybody. It's Noah with the Zone Podcast. Today I'm here with Coach Tata. So go ahead and just introduce yourself to everybody.
What's going on, guys? I'm still fixing my thing, but my name is Coach Tata. Loving doing this podcast with Noah. What do I do? I'm glad you asked. I'm an online fitness mentor, and I help door-to-door leaders optimize their health and energy so they can boost their performance. Something I'm extremely passionate about.
Mhm. When I saw, and I feel like that was from your background in door to door. I've looked into
Mhm.
you a bit, and I've seen that you had a pretty long career in door to door. So
Yeah,
how's that kind of influenced your life in general?
I mean everything, right? I think it was door-to-door was like the biggest eye opener for me in terms of what I need to do to get rich and successful and become the person I needed to be, right? Because
Mhm.
when you're going through the field, it's not just about the sales, right?
Mhm.
It's being able to handle adversity, being able to adapt, right? Having a strong mindset. So all those things that I learned while doing door to door, I applied it to every single area of my life.
Right.
It really builds your character.
Yeah, every single time I talk to somebody from door to door, even with when it comes to content, when it comes
Mhm.
to just interacting, everyone's so much more efficient at communication.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy. I don't know how people like because when you're going out there and you're just hearing no, 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 it could get to you mentally.
Yeah,
But the side of being good at communication, like you said, is still being able to take that rejection and being able to communicate effectively to the next door, and the
yeah.
next door, not letting anything affect you.
And even when it comes to conversations that you have, no door to door dude really beats around the bush. Like I live with one right now with my roommate, and it's like when something goes
Yeah.
wrong, we're like, okay, I'm gonna hold resentment towards you if this happens.
Mhm.
So therefore, let's go ahead and figure it out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's
No.
no emotion in it. It's just like, hey, this is what we got to do.
Yeah, no, for real though, because like you don't have that time at the door with the homeowner. You don't have time to, if you
Yeah.
say the wrong thing, that could be it. So you have to be like direct and straight to the point, right? So
Mhm.
I think that's where it comes from. Just understanding that, like, yo, well, not understanding, but doing that part of your life and then having actual conversations, it just becomes like part of who you are at this a certain point.
Exactly. Exactly. And then just to switch gears a little bit, kind of going into that door to door career, what has been your most memorable customer?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say first thing is I remember when I was selling, right? I
Mhm.
typically sold to the same type of people, and this was like white women over the age of 30 to 40, probably around 50. So let me see. This is when I was doing internet. I
Mhm.
knocked on the door, was a white woman. Um, Husband wasn't home, one legger they call it,
Mhm.
and I'm building rapport. She had a Raven shirt on. So as soon as I knocked on the door, I was like, "Oh, nice shirt. I'm a fan." Right? Build
Yeah.
the rapport real quick, build the trust, and then I get into my pitch. She actually
Mhm.
invited me into the home, right? Made me lemonade. I ended up signing her up. We had a good conversation. I think she wanted to fuck me, if I can say that on.
You're all good. Yeah, you're all good. That's crazy.
I know, right? So that was a good customer experience, and I've had bad ones, but like
Yeah.
it's you don't even know what can happen out there in the field. Sometimes the stuff that happens is just like, wow, people are so different. I did
Yeah.
not even know like this is what it could be.
What are I mean, I've even had people where it's like you'll never expect somebody to be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna shoot you if you don't get out of here," and
Damn.
it's like, "Dang, like what? We're at that level? Like we're still on that level with each other?"
Yeah.
Have you had any experiences like that?
Not shoot. Dang, shoot. I've heard of experience of this lady on Facebook talked about shooting me like the other day, which was just funny you mentioned that. It's just simple sidetrack. I posted something. I was like, door to door is, you know, it's the best in my opinion in terms of selling,
Mhm.
right? And she commented, blah blah. Don't come to my house. If you come to my house, I will pull out a gun. All this stuff. I'm like, dang, you really had a bad experience with the door to door person then,
Yeah.
but nothing that bad. The worst thing I've had, I would say, is dog chasing me and then getting
Yeah.
called the N word, which was like, okay, to be honest, because at that point I already built the mindset. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to the next door. So I'd say that's the worst. I'll say that's
Dang.
the worst. Have you done anything?
Where were you knocking?
um, Definitely not. No, I would say was it Mount Airy?
Not
Mount
Airy.
Airy. So it's a little bit of not so friendly to black people town, but hey,
Yeah,
that's part of the business. You can't complain about any territory you're in. You gotta do the work.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that was the other thing, doing the work.
Yeah.
Like I've seen some of your videos and you help people crush those excuses for
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm too busy, like I'm knocking all day,
Yeah.
can't really focus on my health. How do
Mhm.
you crush those excuses?
Hmm. So for each myself, or how I help my clients do that?
How do you help your clients?
And it depends, right? Because everyone is different level and needs
Mhm,
different things. All right. So my coaching style is actually different. I know some people have a specific coaching style, like I'm sticking to it. I'm aggressive
mhm.
all the time, straight to the point. For example, like Wes Watson, he's probably hard all the time. He's not taking
Yeah,
no soft approach to you, right?
yeah.
So I have to cater. I kind of cater to what that person needs, and that's how I help them crush the excuses. Because in a
Mhm.
moment, it could be like this person is going through a rough time. They just need a little bit of understanding because I know the door-to-door industry, and I
Right.
can know what it means to have a terrible sales week. You're overwhelmed. You're stressed. Whatever. I could be like, "Hey, stop being a bitch. Get the work done, no matter what." Yeah, I could do that approach, but also there's a time where I need a little bit more understanding. Hey, man, it was tough. You had this, and that. But at the end of the day, no one cares about your excuses. No one cares about that. You still got to do what you got to do. These are your goals, right? You set them, and you got
Mhm.
to accomplish them, right? So a little bit of motivation, pep talk, and also addressing the habits that they have, right? Because if I
Right.
want you to crush a certain excuse, there's a limiting belief there. For example, if you're like, "Oh, I can't work out because I don't really have any time," now that's an excuse, right? Because it's
Right.
a priority for you. You're going to make it happen. So, okay, you don't have any time. Let's look at it. Let's do a time breakdown. Where's your time actually going? Oh, it looks like you spend 4 hours a day here. Oh, it looks like you're doing this, and that. Oh, so you have. It looks like you have this much time here, but you're not making it a priority, right? So I'll break it down. If it's a time excuse, I'll break it down. If it's whatever excuse they have, I'll show them that it's not really an excuse. It's just how you're looking at it.
Right.
Because go ahead.
Even with all that, like I just see such a similarity between sales and straight up
Mhm.
coaching.
Mm.
What are like the main similarities that you've seen between sales and coaching?
Ooh, sales is coaching.
Yeah.
That's what I would say, right? Because first, let's say selling, right?
Right.
With coaching, you kind of have to sell them on their goals
Mhm.
in a way, and it's the same thing in sales. You know what I mean? For example, you need a why for me to be able to sell you. Because if you don't have a why you want to do this thing, it's not going to work. So that's the selling part, right? Here's your why. Here's what, if you don't do this, what's going to happen. I'm
Mhm.
selling you on your dreams. What I'm selling you, if you don't do this, what's going to happen. Now, in the coaching part, let's say, for example, you're having a tough stretch. Now, I can sell you on your dreams again. I can bring up your goals. Remember why you wanted to do this in the first place. You wanted to be there for your family. You wanted to spend more time with your kids. You wanted more energy. Now I'm just bringing back up your goals and reselling you on the dream so you know why you started in the first place, right? So as a coach, you got to know what drives people and what to say
Mhm.
to them to make them like want to do more.
Right. Because it's
Okay,
more about it than just the one time sale. You have
exactly.
to actually be with them throughout that whole process. So you
Mhm.
can actually bring up some of the selling points that they had and
Yeah,
then keep them motivated.
exactly.
Um, and
Exactly.
then like the salesman that does win is the one that cares more about them than they care about themselves.
I Man, I love that you said that. It's
Yeah.
so crazy. I told one of my clients this the other day. I'm like, bro, I'm always going to believe in you more
Mhm.
than you believe in yourself. Like you
Mhm.
might think that like it's so crazy. Like I want my clients to be so successful, and I don't think they understand how much I want them to be successful because
Mhm.
that's actually what brings the joy. Not you
Right.
paying me. It's literally seeing you. Let's just say someone's overweight. Literally seeing you for being overweight, stressed, tired, not spending quality time with your family, and then doing the work and then getting there, like that's the joy. That's what I get from
Yeah.
this. Like, wow, man, you closed 10 sales this week because you slept better and you ate better. This is exactly what you want. You felt better on your family. This is exactly what I wanted for you, man. Right. So that's the part that like really gets me excited.
It's that giving aspect. Like, as
Mhm,
long as you're in that giving reciprocity mindset of just
mhm,
like, "Hey, I wanna give to this person."
mhm,
First of all, I even saw one of the posts you put up, and I guess you can explain this one a little bit.
mhm,
But money, like, money isn't you shouldn't be chasing the money, you should
mhm,
create the value, and
mhm.
then the money will come.
Yeah. I'll touch on that. So at first, for me, when I started my business,
Mhm.
of course, I wanted money, right? I had
Right,
this scarcity mindset. Oh my God, I would get on my calls. Man, I need to sell this person. I need to sell this person. Right. But
right,
I hadn't built that much value up instead. And I was chasing money and the money was running away from me. When you chase it, it actually goes the opposite way. Right. So the more I started to invest in mentors, go to networking conferences, invest in myself, right? Put myself out there, experience something new. I started to understand, I need to actually create more value. And the most important thing that I needed to do was give my clients the best service that I could, right?
right,
So I started going way above and beyond for them. I going the extra mile, doing more what than they paid me, right? Over delivering on everything. Maybe I said I would check in every day. Some clients needed me to check in maybe more. I'll check in 3 times a day, right? Just doing
mhm,
that extra mile, providing extra value, right? Asking questions, seeing what they needed, supporting them, all that stuff, like just made it easier for me to create value because I started understanding, oh, this is what this person needs. Oh, this is what this person needs. This is what is missing in my program. I started asking for critique. Like, hey, what do you think I could do better? What do I need to make in this program better? So I could create more value, right? So my clients could be more successful, right?
right,
So asking a lot of questions actually helps you create more value, especially with the people you're working with. Because sometimes people feel like, they shouldn't say something about your program. They don't want to say anything bad, but I welcome that with my clients. What do you need? What
mhm.
do you think would be better? Right. So overall, don't chase the money, create the value, and you see people start running after the service that you have. And you let the client's success story speak for themselves. That's the best type of marketing.
Right. I mean, and I think it's hard coming from door to door. I think a
Hmm.
lot of business owners, it's pretty hard because with door to door, you kind of are chasing the money. You are chasing that next door, and when you make that switch, and I think everybody, when it comes to door,
Hmm.
should be in door to create yourself,
Hmm.
and then have an exit, have a plan of like, I'm going to start this business here, because you take those same
Yeah.
lessons that you've learned, but you
Yeah.
do have to shift from a go getter grinder to a attractor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And even like you said, it's difficult for some people because they get in it for the money, which
Right.
is fine. We all, want money,
Right.
right? But if you're going to the doors and you're so like focused on getting the sale, that's where
Right.
the problem comes in, right?
Yep.
Obviously, you want the sale, but if you care more about the customer and actually worried about how it can help them, that sale is going to come because you can't control the outcome. You can only control your performance,
Mhm.
how you talk to that person. Like whether they buy or not, it's not something ultimately you can decide. But if you get the skill, control the performance, do your best in that, the outcome is going to work out in your favor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And
Um.
if you're sitting there, like, even with, I've seen in solar, like, one of the best thing that you can do is be like, I don't know if solar is right for you.
Mhm.
But I'm an energy specialist, and I'm gonna help you see where's your problem at. If you need a
Yeah.
new HVAC system, let's
Mhm.
go ahead and look at that. Let's
Yeah.
see if there are any rebates for HVAC systems.
Mhm.
And if you can't afford it in this spot, then let's go ahead and do solar, and let's get it paid for in the loan.
Mhm.
Right? But the thing is fixing the issue, fixing
Yeah.
the problem first,
Yeah.
and being problem solver instead of being, "I just need to sell solar."
Yeah, exactly. And you said that if they don't have a problem, you're not fixing anything. Right?
Yeah.
If you go there with solar, let's say for example, and you're not going to save the money, right?
Mhm,
They're actually what their bill is, whatever the case may be.
mhm.
It doesn't save the money, and you're trying to sell them because you want to sell. Like now, you're just kind of slimy because you're not really helping them out,
No.
right? So if they don't need it, then that's cool. They don't need it. But if they really need it, some people need it, but then they're just like blinded to it. Now it's
Yeah.
the communication type of skills that you got to have to make them understand that, hey, this is actually better for you.
Right.
Right.
You got to have those questions to help them break those beliefs.
Exactly. Can never be combative.
So another thing was shifting gears a little bit, going to social media, because you built up a pretty impressive social media following.
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell yourself if you're first getting started in social media? What would you tell your younger self?
Authenticity is key. That's
Yeah.
the biggest thing I would say. Right? Because social media is like a highlight dream of everyone's best moments in their
Right.
life. Right? Some people don't really put the nitty gritty on there. And when I got to a point where I was really comfortable with myself, I open up. I keep it real. I don't, say something I'm not. Right?
Mhm.
I make sure people that I'm talking to understand that I'm not perfect either. Right?
Yeah.
Just I'm a coach doesn't mean I got it all figured out. Right? So I will share my insecurities. I will share, the things that I like, and I'll share how I'm getting better to also make people feel like I'm human and they can connect with me on another level, because you never know who you can inspire by your story. Right?
Right.
They'll actually feel closer to you, and sometimes it'll make them want to buy, because like, wow, he's vulnerable, he shares this and that, I can relate to him on that level. And so main thing is to be authentic. Obviously we look at other people and be like, damn, I might wish I want their lifestyle, I wish I want this, but you don't know what they went through in order to get there. You can't wish you can't sit there and wish to want someone's lifestyle. You can be inspired by their journey and
Right.
replicate it, and use it for creativity, but don't go on Instagram and trying to be someone else, right? You have to be you. That's what people vibe with. And people can tell if you're being you or not. You can't fake it. People understand, like, is this guy being real or not?
Right.
And ultimately, you're just shooting yourself in the foot if you're trying to act like somebody else, because that's not going to last for a long period of time.
Because you can't sustain that. And if you don't have a brand yet, if you don't have, because I don't know if you've read .com Secrets by Richard Brunson, but
Mm,
in the book he talks about having your attractive character and
yeah,
going through having a different archetype for each one.
yeah.
So there's like the interviewer, there's the so it's like the interviewer, kind of like what
You?
I'm doing is like yeah, it's like I don't really have a large like catalog of lessons that I've learned throughout my time to
Hmm.
be that leadership role.
Yeah.
So therefore I'm like providing value to people through the use of other people.
Mm,
And then there's also like I guess it was like the shy hero, which is like, hey, you guys can just have this value,
yeah.
it's whatever
Hmm.
kind of deal.
But
Um,
talk to me more about the shy hero. I'm interested in that one.
so like the shy hero, so it's like the leader is the guy who's going through. He's showing all of the stuff that's happened in the past, and he's really hard. He's like the Wes Brown, or what was it, Wes Brown, the bald guy with the buff dude,
Wes Brown?
or Wes something. But he's like
Whatever.
a buff dude. He's just yelling at you. He's like, get it done. He's like that
Yeah.
hard leadership thing.
Uh-huh.
The shy hero is more of like not as hard on you as much. It's more like, hey, this is some of the things I've learned. If you want
Mm.
it, totally fine. Kind of like the Alex Hormozy, right?
Mm.
Where he's like, hey, here's my value. This is what I learned. This is what I did. It's all good. You can have it.
Yeah.
But he's not sitting there like, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do.
Got you. That makes sense. I feel like I'm a little bit of both in a way.
Yeah.
I like if because I could tell in the moment you might need me to be like, yo, you need to get on your shit and call you out on your excuses. Some
Right.
other people might need me to just be like, hey man, hey, this is what I learned.
Mhm.
This is how it worked for me. You can try this out and see how it works for you.
Yeah.
Right. So I think I'm a little bit of both.
And then the last one is the adventurer, where it's like you're just showing your journey. You're just documenting the whole journey,
Oh wow.
and people are along with you.
I'm all three then. Can
Yeah, yeah.
someone be all three?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, it's like everyone's always a culmination of a bunch of things. But
Yes.
like there are certain social media stuff where like you can tell, especially on TikTok, because they TikTok is just literally one format, and that's how you get successful.
Yeah.
So like just one guy who's like, oh, this is what I learned today. This is the journey I'm on. Documentation, documentation, documentation. For
Yeah.
me, I have like zero documentation, almost just a little bit of documentation,
Yeah.
and mine is just all interviews, all learning new things and taking them kind of along the journey with me.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's cool.
yeah.
I think though, because documenting is good.
Mhm.
It depends for some people. But I still think in general, like, and when I say documenting, I mean celebrating your wins, which is one
Right.
of the things a lot of people forget to do when we're on this journey for entrepreneurship. Because we have that, anyone who's doing entrepreneurship, you're a dreamer. You have this dream in your head of where you want to be, your lifestyle you want to live. But sometimes we forget to like enjoy the journey as we're on the way to that dream. We get so focused, we're grinding. If you have a little bit on that, on that path, document it. It could be
Right.
writing it down, going out to celebrate it, and then you have some pictures and video to just realize, I have come a long way.
Right.
This is where I got, and this is where I still need to go, but I'm on the right path.
Yeah, I mean, I just had a memory pop up on Facebook
Mm-hmm.
where I was living in the office at the time,
Mm-hmm.
sleeping on the floor,
Dang.
and I had there was a dog. There was like the office dog or whatever. So
Yeah.
like I made a little post about it, and I was like, yeah, that was one of the lights at the end of the tunnel,
Mm-hmm.
or not at the end of the tunnel, but on the way there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like crazy that last year I was living on the couch, or not on the couch, on the floor,
Yeah.
and then I drove across country to go start a business with friends. But
Is it crazy when you look at
yeah,
it? Like, how do you? What's the feeling? Because once I see some stuff, I'm like, dang. It humbles you in a way, because
yeah,
like, man, last year couldn't have even fathomed being in this position where I could like do this thing, for you, right? It's like, damn, I really can't in a year. Sometimes you don't
yeah,
realize how quick things can happen, and God is
right,
amazing. Just to say, it's like there's no way I
yeah.
could have done all this by myself that quick. Like, there's a higher power, influencing me at the same time. But that's a great story, man. From being
And it
homeless.
pulls you, dude. It pulls you. You're like, I have to do it. Like it's
Yeah.
there. This is what has been set in place. There's so many like
Hmm.
things that have already been set in place, and it's like it just makes sense. It's like this. I
Hmm.
can't see any other way that this would go. I have to.
Right. Oh, let me plug in my laptop. It's that does the we all have that moment though, you
Mhm.
know. Well, people call it the burn the boats moment. I think so.
Right.
Realizing like, yo, this is the fuck plan B, fuck plan C. Like,
Yeah.
this is going to work. I
Right.
don't care about anything else. I'm so committed and focused. Like, this is going to work. This is plan A. Plan A is going to work forever. Right.
Yeah. And it's that leap of faith. I mean, even for me, I was making good money in door to door,
Yeah.
right? Like I was making good money, and this was really starting this AI business was not something that was going to make a lot of money up front,
Hmm.
right? But I was just like, I know I can provide value to these people. I use it. I
Yeah.
use it to automate my stuff. I want to go help the people in my community.
Yeah.
Um, and I want to get to that point where I have something else going on. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And even with moving and stuff like that, and trying to afford rent, stuff like that, I was like, I can do it. I
Yeah.
have sales skills. I Every single time I have something where it's like terrible. It's like, oh, all the ads are
Yeah. Yeah.
stacked against me. I'm like, dude, I knocked 120 doors or 140 doors, and people try to pull guns on me. You
Yeah.
think I'm gonna be scared of this? What is going
Bro,
on?
oh my God, you think the same. It's exactly like
Yeah,
the exact mindset. Because it's
yeah,
like, even when I was building my business, I was like, fuck, man. When the doubts start coming, you're like, what the fuck? Man, I could sell. Like, all I have to do is go and make money. That's not hard. I know how to make money. Like, what? Right.
yeah.
And that's where the door-to-door experience comes in. Because if you're just a regular entrepreneur, let's say you had the dream, you just came into it, right? You
Mhm,
didn't do door-to-door. You face
mhm.
adversity. It might hit you harder because you don't have that experience where you've proven to yourself that no matter what, I can still bounce back.
Right.
Right. And the door to door, like a transition from door to door and being an entrepreneur, that resilience is already there. You understand that you're going to have to grind. You understand that the failures are coming because you've been just dealing with it every single day for the past however long. It's just
Mhm.
a daily practice at that point.
and you're at that point where you're like, well, I need to get a certain amount of no's, I need to get a certain amount of reps, and then I get rewarded.
Yep.
And even when the sales team leaves, when
Mhm.
when the employees aren't doing it, it falls on you and it's your fault.
Yep.
And then you're like, okay, cool, my fault. Let's go ahead. I guess I got to put my head down and I got to do what
Yeah.
they're doing.
Yeah.
So it's like just lead from the front.
hmm And when it's
But
your
kind of
fault, you got a question? Oh,
yeah. I was moving on to the next question,
hey,
but
go ahead.
if you got another piece, I'm all good to hear.
Yeah. A piece on that, taking responsibility, because
Mhm.
once you say everything is your fault, now you have the power to change it, right?
Mhm.
If it's not, if you don't take responsibility, or you complain, whine, bitch, moan, whatever, you're literally just giving away your power. You're saying, I have no control over the situation. There's nothing I can do, right? So whatever happens as a leader, I don't give a fuck. It's your fault. If your team's not producing, it is your fault.
Right.
Everything that's going on in your business, your fault. So that's always got to take accountability as an entrepreneur.
Right. I mean, even in life in general, because you're
Right.
just gotta sit there and be like, well, I'm in this situation. Like we had a slow week for the
Mhm.
last 2 weeks around here, and we were really just pulled up by our referral partners.
Yeah.
Um, and that's from past Noah
Mhm.
creating opportunity for future Noah. But the
Yeah.
past Noah was not putting in the work 2 weeks ago, so now I'm dealing with the consequences. But
Yeah.
you can see it. It's your
Mhm.
fault. It's
Mhm.
what it's from you.
Yep.
So
It's always from the top.
exactly, exactly. Now here's a question that I really wanted to ask for you. If you could snap your fingers right now for
Mhm.
one of your clients or anybody, and just install a habit in them that stays in them forever, what
Yeah.
would that habit be?
That's a good question. And it's gonna sound cheesy, but the habit of waking up early and going to the gym. I know some of you guys be like, "Oh, he's a fitness coach. He's gonna say that," and I'll explain a bit why I say that. Right? Because the gym is for me is the biggest teacher of delayed gratification.
Right.
If you have a goal, anyone that's worked in fitness towards a goal, you understand that you don't get your physique right away unless you're up there injecting steroids and doing the other things. But you have to consistently put in the work, and then at some point, maybe it's a couple years, you finally achieve the physique that you've been looking for. And the
Right.
habit of building the habit of waking up early and going to the gym, it not only builds you mentally, you're up before other people, right? So you get to start your day already ahead. You're doing things that most people aren't going to do. Most people aren't going to wake up early and go to the gym.
Right.
So that's building your confidence. On top of that, you're building your energy for the day. You start your day by doing something hard. That already puts you in a good mindset for the day. So if I'm knocking, right, and I get a good workout in the morning, I'm feeling good. I'm most likely going to have a good day knocking most of the time. If you wake up, you don't hit the gym in the morning, right? Most likely you're going to be sluggish.
Right.
So that habit of just waking up early and going to the gym, it just sets your whole day apart for success. And if you can do that over a long period of time, you're just going to keep building discipline on top of discipline on top of discipline, especially the days where you don't feel like going.
Hmm.
Whew, and you get up and do it and prove it to yourself. And you keep doing that over and over again. And we have to go squat like a heavy weight and you don't feel like it. Imagine how tough your mindset becomes over a long period of time, the resilience you build. And the gym is going to affect every single area of your life. There's
Hmm.
no like, I've never seen anyone start going to the gym and not make better habits from it.
Yep.
Right? So,
And that consistency, even sitting there, it's painful not to do it. Painful after you get done. If you're a type of person that when you write something down on a to-do list
hmm
and you commit to those to-do lists consistently,
hmm
when you don't complete that to-do list, it's painful.
yeah.
It's like I cannot. Like even yesterday, I had edited videos stuff like on my thing, and I was like,
Mhm.
it's 12 o'clock at night, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I got one more video to edit. It was painful. I was like, I need to go to sleep, but
Yeah.
nah, I can't. I literally can't. I was walking towards it. I was like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So like for everybody out there, that's like number one. I think
Mhm.
that habit just having installed, even waking up early, every single time somebody wakes up early, it's like you're not that door to door guy who comes to the
Mhm.
job because you have to be in it. Most door to door positions, you have to be there at like 10:30, right?
Yep. Yep.
Most people are waking up at 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then rushing to go to the meeting
Yeah.
versus waking up at 7, 6 a.m. and then already being alive by the
hmm
time you get there.
For sure. And because with the industry too, it's a little bit of a crossroad,
Right.
right? Some people, you work late, it's like, oh, I don't get enough sleep, or I can't do these things. And to tie it back to what you just said about, you know, someone with a to-do list
Mhm.
feeling some type of way when you don't do anything. When you don't complete your to-do list, which comes with time management and also comes with being able to adapt, right? And also understanding that you're not going to be perfect. I think those three things, because let's say you have your to-do list,
Right.
you have a plan, you don't hit everything that you need to do. Now you just look at it like, okay, what could I have done better in that day? How could I have managed my time a bit better so I get all my things and my schedule done? And there is days where you don't get stuff done. You might have a day where you don't get stuff done. You can't, sit there and beat yourself up because that's not productive. It's like, fuck, damn it, I didn't want to get in. I didn't get to do this. I didn't get to do that. That's not a productive mindset. You can't go 4 hours or 3 days and try to change it. It's like, okay, cool. Tomorrow, what do I need to do better so I can actually complete my task? Right. And the more you
Mhm.
start doing that, it's like you're always in a positive mindset. You're failing forward
Right.
instead of like, you know, beating yourself up because you don't really get anywhere with that.
Right. I mean, yeah, it even goes back to the doors of being like that first time I'm knocking, and then you're like, I should have said this. Well, now you
Yeah.
know for the next time.
Yeah.
And then writing those things down. Something
Mhm.
that I heard on my last podcast was if you leave it to your memory,
Ooh,
then you don't want to leave your fortunes to your memory.
ooh, that's a good
So
one.
it's like always write it down. Every single time I'll be in bed all curled up,
Yeah.
cozy, and like have everything ready. I'm sleeping, but my mind's going. If I have a good idea, I'm darting up and writing it on the
Damn.
whiteboard.
For real. I have my notes, bro. I
Yeah.
don't know. This is what I do for content. Like anytime because I have a notes content part called on the spot content. So like, I
Mhm.
could be throughout the day, whatever. I'm like, oh shit, I can make content about this. I just go in there
Yep.
and put it out. Or you have to, because you're gonna forget if you don't document that stuff right away.
Exactly.
Right.
And
So
you're
that
training your creativity. You're
mm,
becoming more and more creative because you're training that creativity. You're getting
exactly.
dopamine and you're getting that dopamine release of having that creative thought. So therefore
Mhm.
you have more creative thoughts.
Yeah, for sure. That was good. That was good. You guys should have wrote that down if you're watching this.
Yeah, start writing it down. Start writing
Write that
everything
down.
down.
Write everything
Everything needs
down.
to be written down. And even with that, switching over a little bit to AI. AI is the interesting talk on everybody's mind right now.
It's the
How do
new
you
kid
use
on the
AI in your
block.
business?
Sorry, you said how do I use it in my business?
Yeah, yeah.
That's, I have a love. Let me say love and hate relationship with AI. First, first I would say this: either you adapt to AI or you get left behind. That's
Right.
the most important thing. If you don't use it for your business, you're gonna get left behind. So you said, how do I use it in my business? Cool. So for me, it was more so lead gen and content creation, right?
Mhm.
In lead gen, I don't like to like just let the robots automatically send stuff, but I also understand you could get a lot done, you know, with having a system that's like that efficient.
Right.
So let's say, if I'm sending out mass messages to this specific, I guess, this specific group in my pipeline,
Right.
I'm assuming you know what I'm talking about. Like if you
Exactly.
label this people specific thing in your pipeline, if I need to
Right.
send out a mass message on this, let's say Christmas or Happy Fourth of July, whatever, then I'll have that automatically sent. Right.
Mhm.
But in terms of follow up, typically I like doing that myself. And another way of me using AI is more content. ChatGPT is the biggest one. Hey, give me like 10 ideas on, door-to-door people or something on health. So I'll just get ChatGPT to enhance my creativity. I use it to make it more creative. It doesn't steal my authenticity or my, me being organic. I just use it to give me ideas and then I'll twist it and turn it into, in my own way.
I'm gonna get on a little bit of like a crazy path real quick,
Yeah.
but like, would you use a tool that has studied all of your social media posts? You make a 2 hour long video talking about yourself, and
Hmm.
it learns exactly who Kelvin Tata is, and that is now your follow up AI.
That's crazy. That is
Would you
a
use that tool? Because I'm teetering on maybe, maybe not.
Yeah. Like it studies how my content and then
It studies content, and then you give it a whole video, like a 2 hour long video of your life and who
Mhm.
you are as a person and what your core values are and what do you stand for.
Damn, that sounds powerful. I would use that. That sounds like damn. It sounds like it's a copy version of me in a way, which is
Yeah.
extremely weird,
Yeah.
but intriguing.
Yeah. I don't know. That's something that's like, I feel like that's going to be possible within the next 2 years because AI set up to where you're just talking to ChatGPT basically, and
Yeah.
there's a prompt and you're a certain professional, um, is great. But there's ways to get it to the point where you can have it trained on you in general. I mean, even your voice can be cloned. So it's
Damn.
like it's gonna be a weird world, but
Mhm.
like at the same time, I think that's why it's very important. I think that's why Instagram is coming out with the verification check, and you have to pay for that.
Yeah.
Is because that verifies you as a real human.
Got you. Dang, this is crazy to think about. Like,
Yeah,
the way I don't know, man. The AI is going to be doing a lot of things. What do you think the impact would be, though? Like, do you think people would lose a lot more human control, or like it would be a benefit?
I feel like it'll be a benefit for society overall because most people will only have to work 2 hours a day,
Mm,
and the rest of it will be AI. And then, but with that, I think the wealth gap will keep increasing because
mm,
people who are like, I can work 2 hours a day are going to work 2 hours a day. And then
hmm.
people who are like, I only need 2 hours to finish all my work.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm going to spend the rest of those 10 hours working on myself and working on my business. And I'm
Oh,
going to make everything so efficient to the point where I'm making so much. Like there's just the discrepancy is going to be large.
I see what you're saying.
Um,
Like, people are
is what I
gonna
think.
the people who are using it to propel them, using it
Mhm.
for the good, like they're gonna, get up to a level because there's always that gap, right? Not
Right.
this. That's why there's only a few people or percentage of people that are successful, and
Right.
it's a very small percentage. So you're saying that gap will be bigger.
Yeah. I think the wealth gap it'll be to the point where like there will be those people that are doing it crazy, but I also think at the same time for everybody else,
Hmm.
our lives just keep getting more comfortable as we move on through time. I think they'll
Yeah,
become even more comfortable. Like 2 hours, you're still gonna have a good house, you're gonna have a good place to live at.
yeah,
You're just gonna have more time to spend with other people, and you're gonna have your job that's already set up for you.
yeah.
So
But
I think it'll be better.
it's in the Western culture, though, that comfortability because we have an abundance problem in the
Yeah.
U.S. It's not like there's not a lack thereof, bro. This country provides so many opportunities to become successful. If you're in the
Right.
U.S. and you're making excuse about the government, this, that, and that, you're really not taking accountability for your life and what you could do with the opportunities in America. Because if you go to
Right.
a third world country, some people got to go out and hunt just to eat, right?
Yep.
They're fighting just to get Wi-Fi. Right? We're here, we have abundance of so many things, but yet again, people are still complaining, bitching about stuff. Like, go get it done. Make something happen for yourself because you can.
Right.
People are fighting to get in America because of the land, the opportunities are in this country.
Right.
So yeah, I agree with you. More comfortability is definitely going to come for it.
Yeah.
Technology has made people so like, okay, I'm cool with everything, whatever.
That's fine. I mean, that's fine for most people. It's just not fine for those people who
Mhm.
are willing to, like I'm saying, the people who are willing to go the extra mile, and I don't think it's bad. I don't think either one of them are bad. I think yeah, with an abundance society and people who
Mhm.
are getting a little bit lazy are, I mean, that's just the lifestyle they're gonna live,
Yeah,
right? It's just how it is. I don't know, like
I,
they
I,
don't look at
I
it
get
the
what
same
you're
way.
saying. You
Yeah.
can't like because I'm not gonna sit here and shame you for what life you want to live. That's if
Right.
you're genuinely happy, like you're making your average, what the average person is making. You got your house, you take your 2 vacations, you clock in and clock out. Like you're good with that.
Mhm.
Hey, more power to you.
Yeah.
There's people that are actually happy with that, and that's great. But
Yeah.
others don't want that.
Yeah.
It's just like being controlled. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, even no, but I know like successful people that have their 9 to 5 job,
Hmm.
and it's like, well, I like to have my work for the hours that I do in a day,
Yeah,
and then the rest of the time I spend it with my family.
yeah,
and I spend it going out, and I have a steady paycheck, and I have something that keeps me well,
Mm-hmm.
and that's good. That's honestly a lot of people, especially women, they want you to have that steadiness. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so it's just like it's just that's how it is.
Right. Let's talk about women. So now we got to get into
Okay, all right.
a little bit of that, right? Now
Yeah,
we're talking about modern society.
yeah,
I think it's ever more so than before that women want you to have your shit together now. Now,
yeah,
like women that are our age, they expect you to come, you know, made already.
yeah,
Have a job, have a car, you're already making a certain amount of money. But I don't think most women don't understand that the most millionaires that are men, it happens in their 30s and then like going into their 40s. But we're just in a day and age where people can get rich fast now without
yeah,
trying. Being a Twitch streamer, doing all this and that, you have all this money at a young age, but you haven't even learned and acquired life skills, and that could be
yeah,
detrimental, right? Because if you get money too quickly, you're not gonna understand the value of it because you didn't like really work for it. You didn't put in the work. Because there's a difference between an entrepreneur grinding to get that money and then you just sitting here online streaming and talking to people and you're getting paid millions. There's
yeah.
nothing is wrong with either. It's just saying like there's a different perspective on life with that.
I feel like for those people that get that big jump, and we see this a lot in the solar industry,
Mm-hmm.
is because you can make a lot of money in the solar
Mm-hmm.
industry. You still have to grind, but like you make a lot of money, and then
Yeah.
I've seen people make 50 grand in a month, like 100 grand in a month, and then it's all gone the next month,
Yeah.
right? So it's like if you get that money too fast, you're not gonna be able to like like hold it. You're not gonna
Yeah.
be able to hold it. It's gonna be gone the next.
Yeah.
You're gonna spend it as fast as you can. So that's why I think it's very important to have those systems set up in place and also have those values set up in place, like you were saying.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. Because there's a lot of young kids that are like getting in the door industry. They make a lot
Yep.
of money fast
Right.
and blow it all.
Yep.
Right. And one of the things I've done with my business, I actually partnered with this guy. Let me put this aside. Called Door to Door Financial.
Mhm.
And the sometimes I get young people into my program. I actually have them have a consultation call with him to
Yep.
just assess the finances and see how you can help them. Because if I'm helping you be healthier and make more money, and then you're just spending it on dumb shit, you're just like resetting every time. So I was like, you know what? I think this is actually a good service, right? Because you guys make a lot of money. You learn financial literacy. You learn how to make your money grow with you at a young age. It's just going to be, you're going to set up your future for success. And I think that's one of the things that maybe companies in the industry need to implement that. But at the end of the day, you can't really make anyone, take an action on anything. You could just give them the information and the resource.
Right. Right. Because there's not a lot of good leaders out there. That's a leader right there. If he's going to
Mm-hmm.
sit there and be like, well, this is how you get your credit better. This
Mm-hmm.
is how you improve yourself when you get this type of money.
Mm-hmm.
That's a leader.
Yeah.
That's not a boss. That's not a sales manager.
Yeah. That'd be
So,
good. I'm not really sure if companies have that, and I'm not even going to try to like. Yeah, I'm not sure if they do, but if they don't, I believe they should. For any young
yeah.
guy that you're recruiting, you should have a system in place, or maybe a teaching, right?
Mhm.
Maybe like a course or whatever that you recruit them. They can also learn how to make their money grow. Leading them to be better humans overall, teaching the core values. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And a leader, you could tell a leader is not only leading in the door to door and in sales or in the field. You're leading in all areas of your life, your
Right.
marriage, if you're married, whatever. Outside of the job, you're leading as well. Because if you're a leader
Mhm.
and you have this if you have this lifestyle, most of the time it's the culture that you also have. Because
Mhm.
your team is a representation of you, and your team cannot become what you are not. So for example, if you're expecting
Yeah.
someone to be fit, you're preaching, get fit on your team, whatever, and you're not the fittest, they're gonna
Yeah.
look at you like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Right? You got to lead from the front. If you're talking about people be fit, you better be fit as hell. If you're talking about closing deals, you better be closing more deals than them. Right? Whatever you're talking about, you've had to already done it by example. Because if you don't do it, your team's not going to do it. And then you have those leaders that are complaining, "Oh, my team is trash. My people don't sell. My people don't work hard." Bro, it's all you. Reflect.
Oh man, yeah.
So I'm calling you leaders out right now. Reflect on
You
yourself.
calling me out?
Uh,
We're calling everybody out.
everybody calling everybody out today, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely had to learn that lesson
Yeah.
because I mean even with my business when I switched over from doing my lead gen to having appointment setters,
Mhm.
I was like, man, these appointment setters are putting in, 3 appointments a week. Like I would get like my biggest day was like 4 appointments in a day on
Yeah.
DMs and stuff.
Mhm.
And like what is going on? Well, it's
Mhm.
just because I only started setting 2 appointments a
Yeah.
week because I was like, well, I got my appointment setters now, so I guess I don't have to really do that anymore. And it's like, nah, you gotta still. Now I'm sending them. I'm like, dude, I hit 100 DMs today. Did
Yeah.
everybody hit their 100? What's going on? And
Yeah.
then leading from the front. That those 100 DMs don't take you that long.
It
I
doesn't.
think you maybe like an hour and a half. Like you need to do that.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that because just because you get this is also something I think I learned from Homozy.
Mhm.
Because just because you get a lead gen person doesn't mean you stop doing it. Because
Yeah.
if you do it too, you're just doubling, what's going to come in. You're just
Right.
going the extra mile, and that's more business for you. You might
Right.
not need to do it as hard per se, like when you get to a certain point, but still doing lead gen here and there will still help your business. That's one thing I learned from my marketing. Oh, my marketing guy, I paid 25K for this guy, but that's a story for another time. But he was like, "Yeah, I have a lead gen person,"
Mhm.
and the way he got me was by literally just messaging me. He's still a shark. He's still going out there looking, even though he has his team and system in place. But overall, yeah, leading by example. Always leading by example.
Like the ultimate goal is to duplicate yourself, but how are you
Mm.
going to duplicate yourself if you don't have anything to duplicate?
That's a
Yeah.
good one because you have to and you get to the point where you're really good at it, so you can teach other people to be just like you.
Mhm.
And if you stop doing it, you're not practicing anymore. And we know repetition is key, right?
Yep.
The question: do you like? I'm guessing you taught them how to do lead gen like you.
Yeah.
Did you create like a system or like videos, or you just how'd you
Yeah,
go?
so I built out a script. I showed them exactly where to go, how to actually interact with these people, and
Mhm.
then I assigned them different Facebook groups to go in, and then I also assigned them different people. Like on Instagram, you got to just have like you got your Taylor McCarthy's, you got your Go Solo, you got all these people who are
Big
uh,
into it.
have those big followings of the people in the industry.
Mhm.
So I just tell them to do exactly that, and then I test different offers. So like I'm always tracking my analytics. I can't really rely on them to track the analytics
Mhm.
because I don't have like access to their account and stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
think that's a little overbearing to be like, let me have access to your account so I can check everything.
Yeah.
It's more like, hey, I'll test this myself, and then whatever's working for me. And
Mhm.
if I have 100 reach outs and I have, 10 opens, and so my open rate is about 10, or my reply rate is about 10%.
Yeah.
I know that this is a pretty decent pitch. So let's go ahead and see how you like it. Right.
Got you. Got you. Are you off like are you pitching off the bat? Or is it more so like, oh, straight to the point? Or do you like build any rapport or anything like that?
So I found with DMs that the more straight up you are, the more straight up you are. I mean, I'm pretty straight up. Like I'll send over, hey, so what's the one that I'm testing right now? I have
Mhm.
one where it's just like, hey, name, personalization. I saw you're following this.
Yeah.
Um, text test bot right now to test out our AI, and then they just test it and it'll book the appointment for me. And then it'll be another one I have is like, hey, saw you're following the X. Okay, this is why I'm reaching out. This can help you close more deals. Here's what it looks like. Boom. I showed them a video of exactly what my product is.
Mhm.
And then most of them are like, oh, that's pretty cool. All right,
Yeah.
that's cool. Is it paper close, or they'll ask different questions, right? So
Mhm.
that's kind of how I just stay direct. What about you?
So yeah, I'm actually going some more that approach,
Mhm.
more direct because I've gotten to a point where like all that I always want the serious people now.
Yeah.
Cut out all the extra stuff. If you're not serious and committed, then we're just gonna waste time. So I'm getting to a point where I'm more direct, and what I've been doing is, you know, kind of same thing you've been doing. Hey, name. I saw you in so group, and I'll make a comment about something. I was checking out your profile. You notice, you're in door-to-door industry. It's pretty cool that you're into helping people. I like to connect with the community and get to know people, blah, blah, blah. And now tell them I've been doing this and that for so long. I'm actually looking for some high performers that want to achieve this, and that. Is that something you might be interested in? Right. So
Mhm.
that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Before it was just like say something to spark the interest and curiosity. Like I'll look through their profile and be like, hey, oh, nice background. Where did you take that picture from? And then I'll have a conversation back and forth, back and forth. And then I'll offer my thing when I feel like it's warm enough. But
Yeah.
that approach, obviously, you can only do so many of that a day. And the direct cuts out all the I guess the bullshit.
Yeah, I feel like if they're followers, you should text them like actually build rapport with them if they're followers.
Okay.
If they're on there, then you're building a rapport, and you're not really focused as much on the direct. But if you have a bunch of appointment setters or even just like going straight up to people, then
Hmm.
it's like, hey, can I provide value to you? This is what it looks like. Okay, cool. Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
And then moving from there, because then you're just gonna get all the best people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want the best people?
That's a good point because right off the bat, like they're either committed or they're not. They're
Mhm.
either serious or they're not. Um, but I
Yeah.
I think even building the rapport first too.
Mhm.
Honestly, you should be doing both. I would say
Yeah, yeah.
definitely should be doing both.
You can build the rapport. I mean, even for me, like I used to run hey name, is this a good place to ask questions? And that
Mhm.
just piques so much interest because they're like, oh what? Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, it's a good place to ask questions. Yeah, yeah, you can ask me. And then they gave you permission to pitch them.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So
Yeah.
I ran that for a while and I had a really good open rate,
Mhm.
or reply back rate, but not a super great conversion. But I'm gonna start editing. I'm gonna try that one again because I did get a lot of good results from that.
Yeah, you gotta test out different things. If you anyone do lead
Tracking
gen,
it,
yeah, you definitely gotta test out different things if you do lead gen.
yeah.
But I
And
think go ahead.
it's even with new people that get into business. They're like, hey, they rely on their memory, like we were saying earlier in the conversation. They're
Mhm.
relying on their memory. They're like, well, I think the last few guys that I reached out to, this pitch did work pretty well, and I
Mhm.
did that too. I was shooting from the hip.
Yeah.
But when you get started and more people, they're like, dude, you got to have hardcore numbers. Because even for me, I'm like, oh, this pitch worked this way. Well, I think it's going to be a lot better if it was this way.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, oh, the numbers say otherwise. So it's like, I got to get on my own way.
Yeah, I see what you're saying because and now it's giving me ideas on how to test too. It's like I could
Mhm.
spend one day just sending 100 of this specific type,
Yeah.
track that, and then the next day I would do a specific type and then track that and just kind of have the metrics there.
Yeah.
That's something I need to do more of because I do rely on memory to figure out which one works and which one doesn't. The thing that saves me is my niche is so specific
Right.
and I'm the only one doing it. I've built like a lot of good relationships because the main
Mhm.
way I'm trying to build my business is referral based. Like that's my gonna be my main form of how I get business. Going to networking events, connecting with people, building a lot of great relationship with leaders. Now I have access to their teams, right?
Mhm.
With other leaders, and then it's just at that point it's easier for people to come to me rather than me constantly going to have to chase and obviously running ads and all that stuff too as well.
Right. I mean, that's the attraction. That's where, I mean, even that Alex Hormozy book, the one
Mm,
that just came out, I just read the whole thing, and one of the things that he said was like, with your own customers, you should send out surveys how you can get better. Because if if you if the marketing gods is what he say, if the
yeah.
marketing gods of the universe say that you can never do any ads, you can't do any outreach, you can't do anything. The
Yeah.
only thing you could get, the only way you could get business is from referrals.
Hmm.
How would you treat that one customer that you have to get referrals from, and
Yeah.
then do that?
Yeah, that's a good one. Take it, especially when you focus on taking care of your customers and they get a great service, they're gonna tell everybody, right?
Mhm.
And then they just do the marketing for you at that point.
Right, right.
Cool.
Well,
Good
one of
place.
the last things I guess I'll leave you with
Mhm.
is scrolling. So we talked about this before we got on. For high end performance individuals, like Should you even have Instagram on your phone? Should you even have Facebook on your phone?
Yeah.
How's
I
that
mean,
work?
before I start, I'm not perfect. I scroll a lot. Um, I think it's kind of up to how detrimental it is to your life and success.
Mhm.
Right? If you really notice like you have a terrible problem, all you do is scroll, you're sleeping late because you're scrolling all night, getting distracted all the time, then you probably need to have some sort of restriction with IG.
Yeah.
For some people, they can they don't really get on it that much and they're fine with it. So it's a specific situation, but I think at the end of the day, we all need to have some sort of restriction of how much we use social media. Because if you consume it too much of anything, it's bad. If you consume so much
Right.
social media too much, it's bad for your sleep, it's bad for your brain, your dopamine, and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Right. At the end of the day, I think have some sort of restriction. Maybe you're only having it for these specific amount of hours when you're doing this thing, and then there's a time period in your day when you're not using social media.
Mhm.
Right.
What's really helped me out a lot is having two separate devices, having an iPad for reaching out to people, and then
Hmm.
my phone is only like on Facebook. It's so good that they have an app for Messenger, and then they
Yeah.
have an app for Facebook, so I
Yeah.
can respond to Messenger all day. And
Hmm.
I also have my like Meta Business Suite, so I can respond to that all day.
Yeah.
But doing actual outreach and being actually on the platform, I don't have to be on there. So that's
That's
been a
actually
real
good.
good.
I have my laptop. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good to delete, delete it on that. But the thing is also like I post. That's the crossover because sometimes
Post. Yeah.
I have content on the spot that I might just record right there
Yeah.
and just like
That's the
post it.
problem.
So yeah, you
Yeah.
have to restrict it in some way though. But having a system comes with the discipline. Like I'm not gonna go outside of the system.
Right. Because I mean, even for me, my posting will go down if I
Hmm.
don't have Instagram on my phone because I'm like, hey, because on Instagram you have to be on the app,
Yeah.
on the phone app. You can't
Mhm.
do it from your computer in order to collaborate with people, in order to like use the categories thing.
Yeah.
All those things you have to be on the app to actually post.
Yeah.
Even drafts, you can't do drafts on the freaking on, the computer. It's like
They
what
know,
the heck? You can, yeah.
they
So
know
you
what they're
have to,
doing. They want you addicted to it too. All right.
yeah,
And that's why I did the clearing my friends listing because even if I'm on there now, it's like, man, at least I'm commenting on these people's pictures and liking the people pictures that I want to do business with anyways. So it's productive in a way, but also
Mhm.
there's a side where the dopamine hit keeps going up and up. And then before you realize that you're checking your phone every so often and you get
Yeah.
you're just like, is something there? So yeah, definitely some restriction I would say. And I haven't figured it out yet. When you guys crack the code, you guys. But I think when you get to a point in business where like you're more so, you're not doing, you're not, you have a social media manager, you're not controlling certain aspects, you can kind of back off of that, right?
Yep.
Right. So starting out, there's points where you're gonna have to work really, really hard before you work smart. So some people you might have to go through that social media addiction for a certain phrase because you're really driven to push your business or whatever the case may be. It's what you need to do for this time frame, and then you
Yeah.
can slowly back off. Right? You have to do. Sometimes you got to take extreme measures, and then you go from there to really see how far you can go with something.
Mhm. Well, other than that, we're getting close on time. What
Yeah.
do you have to leave with the audience before you go?
One thing I'll say is, guys, chase your fucking dreams. Whatever you want to accomplish, you believe in it, take action on it. A lot of people don't take action on their dreams because they're either scared to take the risk, quit that job, whatever it is. Take action. You only have one life. You might as well go spend it doing something you love doing. And at the end of the day, you want to try your hardest to get where you want to be rather than you get to the point in your life you're like, damn, I could have done more. Maybe if I did that thing, it could have led to this thing. Nah, man. I want to get to the point where at the end of my life, I'm like, wow, I did everything I wanted to do. At least if I didn't, I gave it my best.
Right.
Right. So just chase your dreams, man. You're in a country where you have the opportunity to be great. You might as well see what you can do. One life only. You're not going to get another chance at this.
All right. Well, that's a hell of a way to end the interview. But everybody, he's gonna be tagged on Facebook. You
Hmm.
have YouTube, right?
Yeah, I got YouTube.
I'll at you on YouTube as well.
Mhm.
And then we're collaborating on the live and everything like that. And then
Yeah.
the clips should come out around 3 weeks from now. So everybody will see your face, and everyone check out the description if you're on YouTube, check out the description. I'll have more things in there. And we'll go from there.
Awesome, man. Hey, this was a good show. I appreciate you, Noah.
I appreciate you too, Kelvin.
All right, brother. I see you around.
There you go.